pod, we thought
On
that...
the pod.
On the pod.
Down with the kids.
That it would be... trying to say serious matter here.
Go on then.
Very... That's really important. You hear a lot of the addict side of things, but we think it's a really important message to get out what it was like for the families.
Yeah.
So, we're going to talk about your perspective today.
Yeah, go on then. I'm in the hot seat.
Yeah, but it's going to be fucking about me, so I'm shitting it. So, it's all about Charlotte's perspective today as a family member of an addict.
Yeah. Go on then, what questions you got to ask?
Okay, I haven't really thought about this, so I'm just going to do it completely off the cusp.
Go on then.
Okay, so let's kick it off then. What was your earliest memories of my addiction?
I don't think there's earliest memories of addiction because it does sort of merge, but I do remember, I think you must have been about 14, 15, and it was when you were drinking over the Fields players, for the Womban people, drinking over players, and you came back and you were like on the floor by the door, absolutely like rat-arsed, and Mum and Dad were fuming. And I don't know whether because I was young they were mad because they knew you had a problem or they knew something wasn't right, or whether it was just because you were 14, 15 and hammered. But that's the first thing I remember around you and drinking.
Yeah, I remember getting caught. I remember being on the phone in the middle of the players, which is like a football field thing.
Yeah.
And I was crouching down and I heard, I'm just in bed. Yeah. Because I said I was sleeping over at a friend's house.
Yeah.
I said, I've got to be quiet because her mum's got to be up early in the morning, so shh. And then I remember looking up, putting my head over this bush. And Mum and Dad were parked in the car on the road. I was like, shit. Oh, God. I remember Dad trying to give me coffee and I was just like, mate, I want to get back out there drinking.
Yeah, so that's what I remember. But I think after that it's just a bit of a blur, isn't it? I think you might have seen the gradual side of it, but obviously
No, I didn't know. It was just like literally one man.
One bam.
Thank you, man.
No. I don't remember when he started it really, apart from that.
Okay. So for you, obviously when things were bad,
Excuse me.
how did it make you feel personally?
But in what? As in how you were or how you were around me sort of thing?
Just everything. So how did my addiction make you feel?
I think I was just angry all the time because I think everyone around us in the family, I won't know because it's unfair, but they sort of normalised it. So it was almost like I was the only one that was like, there's something going on. She's being abusive, mentally and physically. And it's like, does no one understand what's going on? So it's, I think from like a family point of view with addicts, it's like it makes you feel like you're being stupid almost, like as if like you obviously feel like shit off the back of the way you are.
Yeah.
But then it's like no one's making it aware or making it a thing. So it's like, Jesus Christ, like am I just being mad for feeling a certain way about it?
Yeah.
Because everyone's just normalising it.
Yeah, I get you. I think family members just wanted to try and keep the peace, but by trying to do that,
Yeah.
it kind of took away your peace of mind because you felt
Yeah. And I think anyone that has families with an addict, say if like you are a parent and you've got a daughter that's an addict, or whether it's a partner or whatever, I think you've got to make sure. Not saying like, I know, not saying it's not normal, but it isn't normal. Like it's not a normal family environment to be in.
Yeah.
So almost normalising it, it's not fair on everyone around you. But everyone deals with it in different ways, and I think I've learned that a lot of people deal with things
through denial. It's not dealing with it, is it? But a lot of people get through bad times by just being in denial about how bad things are. But I think it's important to actually make it a thing, like, this is really bad, but we'll deal with it, sort of thing.
Yeah, I think that denial comes from fear, though. So I think family members are fearful that they're going to lose someone.
Yeah.
So I think rather than face up to that, they'd rather just kind of pretend it's not happening.
Yeah, and that's what I mean. I think you understand it, but like I think when you're younger, you don't see it like that, do you? You just see it like, frigging hell, like you're watching this, that, and this happen, but you're not making it a thing. And I think it is that thing of like, you've got your one daughter that's struggling with it, but you've got your other daughter that if you don't look after the situation there and then, she could be dead.
Yeah.
So it's like, of course, you're going to focus on the other people, but if you are a young kid going through it, or anyone going through it, you're not going to see it that way. It's just like, well, I'm here too.
Form of abandonment, isn't it? So like,
Yeah,
as a child, you'd feel quite abandoned because the rest of the household is trying to sort out the other child, and that's completely consuming them. But not saying it's right at all, because it's not. But it's really difficult to balance, I guess.
Yeah, and I think that's why you've got to see it. But I think there's almost support for the people that are the addicts, and then the like primary people next to them, so say a parent or a partner.
Yeah.
But then it's like the effect it has on every single person around them. It's like all those other people are still affected. Just because you're the closest person to it doesn't mean that everyone else isn't also dealing with it.
It's a domino effect, isn't it? And I think as well, not only did you have all my issues and the way I was, but then other family members had their own issues because of the way I was and other stuff. So it all was just
have to sort of, I think as well, when you're so young, having to grow up quickly to deal with everyone else's problems, it is like, freaking hell, like I just want to go out with my mates and have a sleepover and like go to the cinema. Do you know what I mean? That's what you want, so you don't end up having a normal situation.
Yeah. Sad, isn't it?
It's quite sad. But it's what it is, isn't it?
What doesn't kill you makes you stronger.
Oh.
How did you view me as a person?
I thought you were a knob.
But did you not think, oh, she's really ill?
Yeah, I did think you were really ill, but like it's hard to sort of see it like that when, like I say, it's because I think as well, because it was almost like you had some jealous thing with me when you were, I don't know whether you just felt it in life or it was just when you had a drink, and I think it was almost like you saw me as like, oh, she hasn't got the bad genes, she hasn't got this, she hasn't got that, her life's perfect. You used to say it, and it was like you try and knock me down to make yourself feel better.
I don't think in my drunken state, though, it was a case of knocking you down. It was a case of feeling, I'm not saying that this is right, but that's how I felt at the time, like, I'm getting zero support.
I feel like I'm really cool.
Getting zero support and just getting pure anger off her.
Yeah, but you also don't see the support that I have to do, not only for you, and you don't see all the times that I have to take alcohol, all these things that I had to deal with you. You won't remember it, but I had to be in the house. Say, like, because I was working the pub at the time, Mum would be at work, I had to deal with you in the house all day by myself. Do you know what I mean? You don't see that. And I think, I've forgot my train of thought now.
So you don't see the
like, and you don't see
well.
everything else I had to deal with.
Yeah.
I'm not going to then, whatever, but I think that's the way I perceived you, because it was just like every little thing I did, whether it was trying to find a new job, even if I put on a bit of makeup that day, you're like, oh, you look like shit anyway, so why are you bothered? Like, little constant little things.
See, I'd never remember any of this.
It was literally the point, like, I'd apply for a new job. It's when I moved out, you were sending me texts going, why the F have you done that for? You're not going to amount to anything, all these things.
I don't remember any of this.
And I just think, like, but that was what was just like, F you, like, it was like, you might be struggling, but you don't know how I have to deal with.
Yeah.
So you saying like it's no support, it's like you actually don't realise how much I have to do to deal with everyone else around you and myself, and still be in the house and deal with what's going on with you at the same time.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? So obviously you don't. I'm not gonna see you in the best light. I understood it 100%. I understood why you were the way you were, but it doesn't
excuse it.
It doesn't make. You can understand something, but you still feel the way you feel. Do you know what I mean?
Of course, yeah.
And that's what it was.
I think as well, because in the grand scheme of my life, living back here was such a small time, and obviously I was just blocked out, so I can't remember. So it's really difficult for me, and I've had to learn to just take accountability for what I'm told that I've done, which is hard in itself when you don't remember, but I know what I can be like when I'm drunk, so I have to take accountability for it. It's just really difficult. At the time, it was not difficult now, but at the time it was really difficult to make, when I was in just so much pain as well, to then be accountable for things I can't remember.
Yeah, and I think that's what it comes back to with family members. Like I say, like you've got to understand things from other people's point of view, because if then, like say, the next day you've sobered up a bit, then everyone around me is going, oh, don't worry, Liv, it's fine, like don't worry about what you did. And it's like you've punched me around the face, a police were called, you said all these nasty stuff, all these things happened, and then you wake up next morning, it's like, oh, what do you want for breakfast, Liv? And it's like there's no one gonna like apologise or take accountability for what happened last night, and it's just it's not normal, is it?
No.
Like if I had a relationship and I was getting domestically abused, say, like even if I was like being emotionally abused, you'd be like, who the hell's that bloke? What have they done? Blah blah blah. And yeah, it's like I know people say family's your family and that no matter what happens you're supposed to be there, but it's like, but it's still, why is it such a different thing?
Yeah.
Because I know family members wouldn't want me in a house with like an abusive boyfriend, but they're all right with it being an abusive sister. And I think that's where the line for me is like, it's not right, is it?
Yeah.
But again, you understand why it happened, but it's like at the time it doesn't make you feel that way.
Yeah, I get that. So, because obviously when I moved back out, or did I get thrown out? I can't remember.
I think you did get thrown out at this point, but I think it was set up that there was like 3 different places you could go to. It was like, I think we were just a bit like, we need a bit of a break now.
Yeah, I can't remember, but I've moved that much in my time, from different houses and different places and whatever. But I remember being back here and sober for a few months, and then it all just, as soon as I picked up that drink again, it all just going completely back to where it was before, and horrific again. But I'm guessing it was a relief then once I'd fucked off.
No, because you'd fucked off when I'd moved out.
Why would you'd gone then?
Yeah, because it was during COVID and I was like, there's no way I can live here. I said, like, because that was the problem, because I was furloughed and Mum was still working. I was like, I can't be here with just you in the house all day, every day.
It was the beginning of COVID.
And I was like, I don't know how I managed it, but like, I just managed to find a house that were barely like any furlough pay. I moved out, but you moved out in that time. But then I moved back while you still moved out.
It's like Piccadilly Circus, isn't it? In, out, in,
I
out.
know. We've been in each other's bedrooms about 10 times, haven't we? Swapped over rooms.
Oh, you mean in the thing?
Yeah.
I think I struggle to remember that time when I come back here. Obviously because I was drunk all the time, but I don't know. I'm trying to think how I felt emotionally at that time. I must have just blanked it out. I don't know. I can't really.
Yeah, but you think there's times where you had to like, smash the front door down because you're like not non-responsive. You really weren't with it.
Yeah, forget. I must admit, like I've obviously dealt with a lot of stuff, but I think when it's you like hurt people and the people that you love and stuff, it's sometimes that must get buried back deep in my head.
But they say really bad trauma that you put it down, didn't you?
It's like I can't remember when Lila was a baby. I can't remember which is my daughter. I cannot. But that was trauma, not necessarily from drink, from other things. And I can't remember that first. I couldn't tell you the first year of her life. Really couldn't, and it's awful. It's really sad. But I've had to come to terms with it that for some reason trauma has completely blocked it out. When I lived in that house, that nice big house in Blooming, I can't remember any of that time.
Really?
Nothing. Couldn't even tell you much about the house.
Mad that is. It's a nice house actually.
But then, like, I was doing the flower business and that there, and I just can't remember any of it.
It's weird that is. That was the time you were more sober as well.
Yeah, but I think because I wasn't drinking so much,
yeah,
emotionally inside I was an absolute mess. I had nothing to numb it.
Yeah, I suppose so.
So I think mentally and emotionally I was 10 times worse. Like how I felt myself. Because obviously when I'm drunk I'm just out of it, you know what I mean? So I think that's why that's just been really put to the back of my head.
Possibly.
Yeah. But also as well, after I had Layla, 100% had postnatal depression. I was self-harming and everything.
Yeah, I remember that.
Yeah, I didn't think you knew about that.
I think, and this is like, I know you mum say this, we tried to keep certain things hidden from you. I know a lot more than, think I know.
All I know is that I'm sober now and life's good.
Yeah, but it's silly stuff, isn't it? Like mum will be on the phone and say, I don't know, Uncle Colin or something. And it's just, you hear the conversations, you know what's going on. But also, like, and it's selfish, I know, but it's that thing of, like, I've had to deal with it all day. Like, I don't even want to know anyway. It's like, it's just the next thing on a line of things, so...
It's just a merry-go-round that everybody's stuck on and no one can get off until that one person sorts herself out.
I think that's the thing. You just got to accept that is. You've got to accept that. Look, I think as well, it's harder for me to accept that you're well than it is for you to not be well. Because I think you get in your head like, okay, this is it. Deal with it. Like you will always.
Yeah.
You will always be the way you are. Then I have to move on with my life. So when you're well again, it's like, what the hell do I do with you? it's like, I don't know. It's just weird.
Like, do I be friends with her? Do I be nervous?
It's like having a stranger in the house.
I still think she's an asshole, but what do I do?
It's mad, man. So weird.
Yeah. Well, I am a completely different person today. That wasn't me, though, was it? That was... Yeah, it was me, obviously, but it wasn't the real me. It was the addict me.
Yeah, but then from my perspective, I don't remember you before you were an alcoholic.
Yeah.
So it's like...
I've always been an alcoholic.
You've always been an alcoholic to me. So I've never known any different.
Yeah. Yeah, true.
Oh.
You was a baby.
As a baby.
And that's what I was going to say as well. I think, from what I know, from a professional point of view now, is that by allowing no consequences for somebody's actions during addiction is a form of enabling.
Yeah. And this was the arguments I always had with people around us.
A lot of what you've said there, with all the family members and everything, kind of just brushing it under the carpet, it is actually a form of enabling. Because even though I wouldn't consciously think, I can get away with this, because that wasn't the way my mind worked, it was subconsciously, it's like, well, I can keep drinking to numb my pain and get no consequences from it. Yeah,
but that's what you said, because I think I have always been, I am a bit of a weirdo and stuff, but like I have always been a lot more mature for my age. And I think I was a lot younger, even how old would I have been, like when it started?
10, 11?
I don't know, but I think I've always been a lot older for my age, mentally. And I was telling like adults around me going, this isn't right, you've got to... And I think people around me thought I was just trying to like punish her and be nasty, but it's like, no, nothing's going to change unless you tell her. Like, one more binge, you're out on the... Not out on the streets, but you're out the house, or if this happens again, we're calling the police, or this, that, and this, but there was never that.
I think the thing is, though, as soon as I've moved out and I was on my own anyway, and I just hid myself away drinking and using and doing whatever, I had nobody to answer to, then it really spiralled even more. But
So it's like you need to like monitor,
but then I
keep
still
it
had
strict.
mum coming and letting herself in the house, in my house, checking that I was still alive, you know what I mean? And I get that she was in utter fear, didn't know if I was dead or alive. But it got to the point though where she did just leave me, didn't she? And that was when I went like for about 3-4 months, then I went into treatment.
But I feel like that says what it is. Like you were left
mean.
alone, and finally like oh crap, and I feel like mum put it to a point like, look, you're gonna lose me now. Like if you don't get yourself sorted, and she was finally giving that like, look, you're not gonna have a family the way you're going. You need to go and get yourself sorted.
But the bad thing is though, it wasn't that what got me well. It was the fact that I was just gonna die. I just wanted to die.
Yeah.
So it was like, and then luckily I had that phone call about going into treatment. But it's quite sad really, because it just shows that addiction, you can't, it doesn't, and it sounds so selfish, but it's so true. You can't do it for your family, your kids, your anything. It's got to come from you. You know what I mean? And it is. And people say, oh, well, why can't you do it for your kids? Why can't you do it for this? Why can't you do it for that? But it's not how addiction works.
And I think deep down we're selfish people anyway. Like humans are selfish. You want to make sure you're happy above everyone else, so you got to do it for you. But I will say that from like the other perspective as well. If you've got family members that are addicts, you've got to live your life outside of it.
Yeah.
Like you can't spend your whole life making sure someone else is okay, because it is that thing. Unless you want to do it, no, like as in the addict wants to get well.
There's not a lot you can do.
There's not a lot you can do. So it's just like you've got to. And it's like for me, I was literally a child, and I got to a point where it was like frigging hell. I spent God knows last how many years in this house dealing with this. I want to live my life, and I'm like it now. Like I'm never in the house, but it is that thing of like I'm going to go and have my life outside of everything else that's going on, because it's important.
Yeah, and I think as well it's really important for family members to go and seek help for themselves, because I think they get so wrapped up in trying to get help for the addict that they put themselves on a back burner.
Yeah, no, I agree. You've got to be selfish. And it's that thing, isn't it? You can't help someone unless you're mentally well yourself.
And you can't help someone that doesn't want help at that time.
No. But you can't help your circumstances.
All you can do is be there for when they do want to get help.
Yeah, which you're not going to do if you haven't dealt with.
But from a back foot, you know what I mean? It's like with Mum, even though she just completely had nothing to do with me towards the end, I still knew that she was my mum and she'd be there, you know what I mean?
Oh yes, yeah, 100%.
But yeah.
Oh.
What do you think of me now?
Friggin' irritating.
Not irritating. Funny. Funny irritating.
Talking about your £70 MOT for the last 10 hours. Yeah. Jesus Christ.
I was really worried that my MOT would cost me about 500 quid to get it through, and then I was weighing up the option, like, well, do I MOT it or do I just get my new car that I want? But then it was like, I still want to save a bit more to get a camper van, and then it was no, I didn't know what to do. The MOT ended up costing me £70. Winning! Did I tell you it cost me £70?
No, I never said. Jesus Christ.
And I've had some work done on it, and still only cost me like the MOT and then like an extra tenner.
Jesus. Don't know how you do it.
I don't know. It's because what you put out into the world, you get back, and I'm constantly
No,
giving out
you've
positive,
always,
happy.
you've
vibes.
always been a jammy bastard.
It's because God knows that He's kept me alive, because I'm going to do great things in the world.
Well, you better, because you've got through some.
Well, as soon as I got well, I started helping people. That's like my commitment. Thanks God.
Oh.
No, it's no. I do think I've been kept alive for a reason, though.
I don't even believe in all that stuff, but even I have to agree with you because I don't.
The amount of near-death experiences I've had, I'm not even joking. Like, and when I mean near-death experiences, I mean on the brink of literally. It is nothing short of a miracle that I'm still alive.
You'd be like Jesus if you ended up dead. You'd come back to life.
Walk on water.
You'd
You
walk
know
on
what I
water.
wouldn't do? I wouldn't turn water into wine.
I'm going to do that and give it to me.
Oh God. No, so everything's groovy now, I suppose.
Groovy, baby. Ooh.
I mean, she's still a fucking black and white, narrow-minded twat from time to time, but she's alright.
I'm not narrow-minded. I'm just
Not
black and white.
narrow-minded, just tunnel vision sometimes.
Yeah, but I think that's like,
But that's
I
'cause you're
needed that.
autistic.
One, I'm autistic. Two, I needed that anyway. I think, fuck, you know what I'm like, I don't like, why, like, make such a big thing of things. Like, if you want to just, black and white mind in it, stuff it. Like, I always say it to my mates, and they're like, oh, I don't know when to do this, just do it. If someone pissed you off, tell them they pissed you off.
I think...
Does something make you happy? Go and do it. I don't understand why everything has to have such like
you
deep thoughts.
You don't get my airy fairiness at all, do you?
No, like putting a crystal down your tits. What's that gonna do? What's that gonna do?
I come in tonight and I said, I'm meant to be at a healing drum circle tonight. And they all looked at me like I was mad. And then I was trying to talk to Mum and you about high vibrations and low vibrations and energy.
I understand
and
it.
everything. And then I've got Mum singing the Beach Boys, good vibrations. And then I've got you looking at me like I've gone fast.
But like, if you're like really depressed, right? I don't understand how a drum is going to do anything for you. I don't understand.
It's all a spiritual healing journey.
But I will say, whatever works for you, works for you, innit? Like, if people are really...
I mean, don't get me wrong, that isn't what has got me clean and sober. What's got me clean and sober is hardcore bloody therapy.
But that's what I believe in. It's like people that, like, want a certain life for themselves. Like, people are like, oh, I want to manifest being a millionaire. It's like, but what are you doing about, like...
Manifesting only works with aligned action. You can manifest, but you've got to put aligned action.
But this
in
is
with
my
it.
point, and this is what... this could be the sister spat of the week. Because this is my point. I hate it when people, and it makes people like, I've got like, I'm in $5,000 in debt, but I'm manifesting, I'm getting myself out of it next week.
Bullshit. That's not what manifestation is.
But that's the way it's perceived. Like, no one actually knows what hard work is anymore.
Yeah, I get that. I understand.
It's like, if you want something in life, work hard for it and you'll get it. Might be
Yeah.
my black and white thinking, but it's just a fact.
You do work hard for it, obviously.
But working hard for it is manifesting in it.
Well, no, because you can work hard for something, but unless you feel it and believe it, you'll find that won't pay off. Manifestation is literally just visualising and believing and feeling that you can do it.
But to me, that's working hard. That's just determination, isn't it?
Oh, right, yeah, I can't be asked.
I could talk for ages about it.
I've got a book on manifestation, which is quite simple.
So it would work for me.
So I think you should read it.
No, I understand it.
Okay, listen to this.
I'm not going home nowhere.
No, quick one. What's his name?
Just realised he donkeys are still on.
Donkey. Jim Carrey. Yeah.
Yeah, I love Jim Carrey.
He did Dumb and Dumber, didn't he?
Yeah.
Well, he loved manifestation, right? So what he did.
Just acted thick for a few days.
So what he did when he wanted to try and get into acting and all this, he wrote out a cheque for, I don't know if it was £1 million or £10 million, right, to himself, and dated it 10 years on, right? 10 years, which is a form of manifestation, 10 years to the dot, he got the role for Dumb and Dumber for the exact amount of money on the cheque. And you're telling me that's manifestation, man. But in that
I think that's coincidence in him asking for that £10 million.
No, that's...
That's the way I see it.
But what he's doing there is putting it out to the universe and on paper that is what I'm going to achieve.
But I will say, the one thing I do is do a vision board every year.
Well, there you go. That's a form of manifestation.
Yeah, but to me, it's just like, I want to do this year. Like, so I'm
So
looking
why have you got to visualise it on a vision board? Write it on your phone.
because I have the memory of
Or have it in your head.
because I like using Canva. That's all it is.
Okay, so you're gonna say because I need to have if your goals were that ingrained in you and you're
but
working
again,
that hard towards
But
them,
like
you wouldn't need to visualise
but
that.
that's just me being organised. Like I have a diary, and every single day I write down what I want to get done to achieve what's on that vision board. But I need to, because I'll forget my own goals, man. So I need to write them down, and then I think, oh, I can sort out what
I
I
am
want.
a writer though. I write everything down, and you know what? It is madness. Like I've got my own business and everything, and I have clients come through on an app and stuff like that. That bit is technology, but the rest of it, I handwrite everything.
I think you should.
I love handwriting. I can't be dealing with technology. I hate it.
Yeah, I don't understand it. I don't get it. I've put that on that.
Yeah, I've realised this since we started doing this podcast together. You're actually really like what's the word? Forget I'm on a podcast sometimes. You're really
Like dyspraxic. Is that the right way?
yeah, you are a bit dyspraxic.
Yeah.
Like like when you were trying to put that light on there, I was like, which has now gone off.
Do you know what I
anyway.
did?
It's gone off anyways. What was the point in that?
Oh yeah, no. Yeah, I dropped a bag of oats at work today and a bag of sugar. I can't, like, it is like, but I think I've got like no peripheral vision.
No, it's the tunnel vision thing again. It's like you have to tell you to do something.
Oh,
If you
I'm like
want-
a sheep.
And it's really, really annoying sometimes. It's just like, let's just say, Charlotte, do this, this, and this, and this. Where to me, it's just kind of like not common sense, but like.
In what spec? Like what?
Yeah, I'm trying to think. Me and Mum was on about one the other day. I can't remember. In fact, I think it might have been about housework, and I said to Mum, because Mum always moans about like, oh, I've got so much housework to do in that big house, blah blah blah. And I'm like, well, why doesn't Charlotte do it?
Yeah.
She lives there as well.
Yeah, but to be fair to me, and I will say this,
And she says I have to tell her.
this is my point. If I'm cooking in the kitchen, I clean up after myself. I clean up what I like. If I wasn't here, it'd make no difference whether I was here or not. Look, I clean up what I make a mess of.
But when do you hoover the living room? When do you dust?
I
When
don't-
do you clean the toilet?
I clean the toilet. I'll clean the toilet I use. But Mom uses the living room. I don't. I can't remember the last time I sat in the living room. I'm never here. If you're in a hotel and you just pop back
See
to
what I
see,
mean? Got it easy.
you know. But it's all right. When I move out this year, she won't have to deal with that.
I just.
But also, no offence, Mum, I know she'll be listening. Mum makes a mountain out of a molehill. Like, she'll only have to hoover the like kitchen a little bit, and it'll be like the biggest thing in the world. And it's like, take 2 seconds, Mum.
I live on my own I was going to say in a 3-story house, it's tiny. But I hoover my 2 lots of stairs twice a day, man. Real world problems.
But why do you hoover it twice a day?
Because I've got 2 cats and I can't be doing with the fluff. Really can't.
It's all the fluff in our house.
I have to. My house has to be immaculate. That's the psychological thing though, because addiction, it was a shithole.
Yeah, that room upstairs was horrendous.
Oh, it was horrific. If you follow me on Instagram, you've probably seen my bedroom a lot. It's my favourite room in the house. And it's really nice and cosy and lovely now, but it was a mess. Turn the house around, to be fair. You know?
I don't think I was really there when you were like off your rocker.
You wouldn't want me. It's just like a drinking crack then, it was horrific. It's a lovely house actually.
If it was anything like that bedroom upstairs, yeah.
Anyway,
We're rambling.
I think that's we've done our sister span.
Yeah, man.
Oh, we're meant to get the DMs up to.
Maybe next week we can do a Q&A podcast.
Get questions.
Oh,
Okay,
questions.
we'll get questions off you guys. So, whether you're listening on whatever you're listening on, or
On the pod.
on the pod, yeah, just comment, DM, whatever questions you'd like to ask me, and I was trying to think of a funny insult we've made, and then I can't think of one.
Because I'm perfect.
Big Ed. And we will answer them next week.
Auf Wiedersehen.
Ciao.
Arrivederci.
Bye.
Arrivederci.